Hey guys, we will get 4 new Euphorias instead of 2 in version 2.8. We're gonna take a look at all 4 of those and figure out how good they are, should you get them, why and when should you get them. So let's start off with Regulus. Regulus's rank 1 Euphoria update says you increase the maximum amount of Eureka you can gain. At the beginning of the round you gain Eureka, and whenever an ally consumes Eureka you accumulate points of inspiration. When entering battle, accumulate a certain amount of inspiration. From the next round onward, gain a prepared incantation Rock and Roll Forever at the start of each round. What is that Rock and Roll Forever incantation? It is: this round's impromptu incantation is treated as having gained the highest inspiration count from an unused incantation last round. So what does that mean? That means, let's say this turn you have an incantation with inspiration 5, right? But you don't use that incantation. Instead, next turn you use Regulus's Rock and Roll Forever incantation. And now one of your impromptu incantations that would have, let's say, 2 points of inspiration accumulated now has the 5. Right? Because last round you didn't use that incantation that had 5 inspiration accumulated, and you turn this now next turn into 5 inspiration points for another incantation. What does all of this do? Not much, to be honest. It makes you a little bit more consistent though, if played correctly. It's not something groundbreaking though. So let's keep on reading. When entering battle, gain Restless Heart. Restless Heart is removed if the attack does not crit. What does Restless Heart do? It gives you plus 5% critical hit rate. Excess critical hit rate is then converted to crit damage. And if you would now crit, then this Restless Heart stack would be removed. And it is also removed if the attack does not crit. So yeah, in the end it gives you crit rate and a little bit of crit damage as well. Then it replaces the insight effect of listen to the new stuff. So incantation number 3 is now, if under Restless Heart, at the start of the round you gain sturdiness. When attacked, sturdiness is, when attacked, damage taken reduction plus 25%, and you lose 1 stack of sturdiness after it triggers, after you have been attacked once. How do you gain Restless Heart? You gain that by not using any action with Regulus this round. That was her rank 1 Euphoria. Let's move on and read rank 2. After casting your incantation number 1 or 2, you consume Eureka to increase the number of attacks dealt by this round's impromptu incantation. Self-explanatory. Rank 3. After casting your ultimate, this round's impromptu incantations, they gain a number of inspiration. And now comes the interesting part with rank 4 Euphoria, that says, at the beginning of the round, make the ally directly in front of Regulus apply Rock Focus to their main target after attacking it this round. What is Rock Focus? That is, impromptu incantation, now target this unit with priority. And that's where you could make an argument for this Euphoria update. Like, all in all, it's really bad. It does not make Regulus a must-have, and it is easily skippable. But just in case, which I can't believe, this would be the case for a lot of players. If you plan to play impromptu, you will have Voyager. And Voyager is a much better character than Regulus, but Regulus and Voyager, those two are the only characters in the impromptu lineup that have the effect of making the impromptu incantations that would normally attack random targets now focus their damage onto the target that you want to have that damage on. The damage that your impromptu incantations now deal is not randomly distributed, but all of the damage lands where you want it. And that's very, very valuable. For this impromptu team, that's an ability that you want to have at your disposal. And only Voyager and Regulus do that. So, in the very niche and very weird case, if I'm being honest, of you planning to play impromptu but you don't have Voyager, then you could slot in Regulus as a replacement for Voyager. If you have Voyager, then this Regulus Euphoria is you can, like, it's a must skip. You don't need this for anything. Regulus is the worst character in the impromptu lineup. Even Matilda is better than Regulus when it comes to damage. So no need for Regulus, that's an easy skip unless you plan to play impromptu and you don't have Voyager. That's about Regulus. Next up, let's take a look at Lucy's Euphoria. Rank 1 says, at the start of the round you create an electric field, same as Ulrich does. After releasing a reinforced incantation, all your incantations will always be reinforced. You funnel Dynamo into this electric field. Rank 2 says, when entering battle you gain certain stacks of Dynamo. You gain a certain amount of Dynamo. After triggering advancement and reinforced incantation, so always, you gain data iteration. Okay, let me explain a little bit what this electric field is all about. You will need to funnel Dynamo into this electric field. Your entire team can help you with that. It is not for only Ulrich can funnel this or only Lucy. No, your entire team can do that. Everyone who has Dynamo funnels this into this electric field. And you need to level this electric field up. You have to funnel 50 Dynamo into this field to level it up to level 2, and a total of 120 Dynamo will be required to level this up to level 3, and you want to level it up all the way to level 3 as fast as possible. Why? Let me tell you what this electric field actually does. At level 1, damage dealt, so always, damage dealt plus 15%. Cool. Level 2, incantation might plus 25% and damage dealt plus 15%. Level 3 does both the things that level 1 and level 2 does, plus an ultimate might is increased by 35%. Now, Ulrich, we did a kit breakdown for him. He's all about increasing the ultimate might as well. So keep this electric field level 3 in mind with this ultimate might increase, and that Ulrich is all about increasing ultimate might as well. That is very, very important to understand how incredibly good and busted this Lucy Euphoria is. So keep that in mind when we move forward. Now, rank 3 of her Euphoria says, after entering a certain level of electric field, Lucy loads several stacks of overcharged ammunition. While under this electric field, you gain overcharged ammunition after a crit. Rank 4 says, reinforcing incantations no longer consume Dynamo. Under the first push inside effect, Dynamo is no longer gained when enemies are defeated. When in different levels of electric field, reinforce incantations to deal additional reality damage. And now comes the busted part and where things get completely out of control. Incantations, like reinforce incantations, but they will always be reinforced no matter what. Reinforced incantations enjoy ultimate might. Every single incantation that Lucy has and uses will always profit from the ultimate might being increased. Ulrich does this a lot, the electric searching field does this a lot. This is incredible. Everything that Lucy does profits from ultimate might. This might not sound like very special to anyone, but this is crazy good. It increases her damage by an absurd amount. She will be one of the best DPS characters in the game with that. And let's move on. And each stack of data iteration increases the effect of ultimate. So yeah, ultimate might more and more and more and more and more. This is why Ulrich and Lucy are an incredible team. The synergy here is through the roof. And yeah, remember, we also have other characters, but that doesn't really matter. We have other characters that also give a lot of ultimate mind and have shenanigans there, like Melania and Mulde, but they don't matter because you need to have Ezra in your team and probably an additional healer. Maybe not. If Ezra gets the sustainability done for this team, then you can even slot in a Mulde or Melania into this team. That would be absolutely ridiculous. Why do you need Ezra? That is because if you only play Lucy and Ulrich together, they will struggle a little bit with getting this electric searching field up to level 3 fast enough. Ezra fixes that problem like easily, you know. With those 3, this will be no problem. You will have this searching field leveled up to level 3 immediately, pretty much. But without Ezra, it will take a while and it might actually be too long. And yeah, that's it about Lucy's Euphoria. Let's move on to Semmelweis. But a quick note again. To understand Lucy's Euphoria better, go and watch my kit breakdown for Ulrich. And the same goes for Semmelweis. To understand her Euphoria better, please go and watch my Nautica kit breakdown. This will help a lot in terms of understanding how good this actually is and what is actually going on here. But now let's talk about Semmelweis Euphoria. On rank 1 it says, when allies lose HP, you accumulate blood tide. When entering battle, increase self max HP and increase other allies max HP by a percentage of Semmelweis's max HP. Quick reminder, Nautica is all about using the blood tide, and everything that she does scales off of how much max HP she has, and Semmelweis immediately, without even doing anything, increases her max HP. Cool. Then we have rank 2 that says effective means enhanced. Targets under fresh blood deal increased damage and the duration of statuses applied is extended. Cool. Our buff incantation here is enhanced. We now deal even more damage thanks to it. Splendid. Also, fresh blood effect changed to after action, lose a percentage of current HP, increase crit rate and crit damage. Yeah, we get crit rate, we get crit damage, which is even more damage than it would already do, and we now lose a certain percent of HP, which accumulates our blood tide for Nautica. This is, yeah, synergy through the roof with Nautica. Then her rank 3 Euphoria says, for every certain amount of blood tide, the team accumulates... Oh, wait a minute, let me read that again. For every certain amount of blood tide the team accumulates, you gain Moxie. Wow, incredible. That helps her gain her ultimate without her even using incantations necessarily. That is incredible. Then, Truth Revealed. I did a guide as to how to play Semmelweis, so in case you're wondering like what is Truth Revealed, go watch that as well. But yeah, this is the, if she uses her ultimate, then for 3 rounds she will cast an extra action at the end of each round. That is called Truth Revealed, and this is her main source of damage. So that Truth Revealed now deals damage based on a percentage of own max HP instead of attack. That is not too much of a change. The damage is still around the same. Like tiny little bit of change maybe, but not too much. It's not worth talking about that. and it increases the blood tide. That is beautiful. More blood tide, more damage with Nautica. Then her rank 4 Euphoria says, the array Blood Domain gains an additional effect. Allies' healing received is increased for every percentage of max HP lost. Healing received is further increased. So, that is something that Nautica does as well. She increases the healing received for herself, and Semmelweis does this actually for the entire team. That makes you be able to get away with using a not so good healer, so to speak. That's really a really good way to put it. You can use a character that also deals damage and is just his semi ability is to heal. It doesn't really have to be a healer. Yeah, it can be a not so good healer. That's the best and most simple way to put it there. That basically means you get away with using Ezra instead of Medicine Pocket. Then, while in Blood Domain, if the blood tide cap is reached, allies lose a percentage of current HP upon an action, and extra actions damage increases. Yeah, that makes Semmelweis stronger, but you would never want to reach the cap, or you want to reach the cap of blood tide, right? Don't get me wrong, but as soon as you would reach the cap, you would want to use this blood tide. So yeah, having to be at the cap to then increase the damage of extra actions, yeah, you could do that, but you don't necessarily want to do that. Yeah, it is a situational thing. It makes you situationally more consistent, so we take it. Allies under fresh blood gain increased damage for extra actions as well. So yeah, you can really do a whole lot of damage with Semmelweis if you would wish, but you would rather do that with Nautica. So yeah, her rank 4 here, that is more of a thing if you want to keep playing Semmelweis and you don't really plan to pull for Nautica. So I mean, we take it. Overall, this is a beautiful Euphoria update, really strong. The synergy with Nautica here is through the roof, and yeah, it's just absolutely fantastic, and you would definitely want to have that at your disposal, especially if you play Nautica. It's kind of a must-have, honestly. That's how good it is. So let's talk about Jessica now. Jessica's Euphoria rank 1 says, when entering battle and after several rounds each time, inflict the enemy with a debuff. This debuff says, at the start of the round, resolve a certain number of stacks of poison. This will not reduce the remaining duration of the poison. There we go. Jessica will be played in the team together with Willow, Tuesday and Sotheby, and she makes her Euphoria rank 1 makes it so that you immediately deal more burst damage with poison, because let's say, for example, you have 6 stacks of poison on the enemy. These 6 stacks of poison, they would now deal their damage in a duration of 3 rounds. Jessica makes it so every now and then, every like second or third turn, that these stacks of poison deal their damage immediately and not spread throughout 3 turns. And it doesn't even like delete the stacks of poison, they still stay on. So that is already really good. And a beautiful synergy with poison teams. Then her rank 2 Euphoria says, after Gaze from the Forest hits, immediately resolve all enemies' poison statuses. So this will delete the stacks of poison on the enemies and resolve them all at once, though, from all enemies. That is pretty incredible. But you lose the stacks of poison, and that's what you will have to be. You have to keep that in mind the moment you use Gaze from the Forest. Then her rank 3 says, after White Blankie or Good Friends hits, inflict poison. So with her incantation number 1 and number 2, she inflicts poison now. Gaze from the Forest, by the way, is so ultimate. Then At the end of the round, if a single enemy carries more than a certain number of poison stacks, you cast your incantation number 2 on the enemy with the highest HP percentage and you gain Moxie from it. Absolutely incredible. You now have an extra action at the end of the round. You inflict poison with your incantations. You can immediately resolve poison. Extremely good already. But let's move on to her rank 4. Euphoria, which says the debuff gains an additional effect. Its bearer takes increased poison damage. Beautiful. Yeah, this debuff is the one that she spreads like every second or third round. Then, while under this debuff, each time the bearer's poison is resolved, they gain Spore. You have to inflict a certain amount of Spore, and then this Spore will turn into a stack of poison. Yeah, it explains it here. And then, yeah, the Spore will be converted into poison, and that's what she does. So, Jessica, she spreads poison, she makes it so that this poison deals more damage. She can resolve this poison immediately without even deleting the poison stacks on the enemy. So this will be an absolute must-have for the team around Willow, Tuesday and Sotheby, and it will elevate this team to new heights. It's incredibly, really good. So yeah, if you play Willow, this is a must-have Euphoria, you know. Jessica is a Lucy is a must-have Euphoria. If you plan to play Ulrich, right, and you get Ezra, the Dynamo archetype, if you want to play that, Lucy is a must-have, of course. Regulus is kind of a must-skip unless you don't have Voyager. And then Semmelweis a must-have if you plan to play Nordica. But even, still pretty good on her own. She doesn't necessarily need Nautica because of her rank 4 Euphoria. But highly recommended to play her together with Nautica, of course. And if you play Nautica, Semmelweis is the must-have. Jessica must-have if you play Willow. And that's about it. That's all about there is to say about these 4 new Euphorias that we will get at the 2nd anniversary in version 2.8. I hope this was informative and fun. If you like Reverse1999 content in general, please consider leaving a follow on my channel, I would really appreciate that. But until next time, take care of yourselves, have a great day, and we love this game.